Okay, so we're going to use a Motobriiz cable lube kit to lube the cables on this Honda 919 motorcycle. So to prep here, we've removed the bar end from the end of the handlebar, taken out the 2 screws for the clamshell, and then loosened up the throttle cable a little bit. So the way this cable lube kit works, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, it's about a 5-inch needle, a blunt needle, and we're going to be sticking it through the cable and down into the sheath and then dispensing lubricant into there. So we're going to do it in both of them. This is going to be the one that's a little harder to get to, and then the bottom one is a little easier to get to. So to make the operation a little bit easier, what we're going to do, we're going to pull this back, and we're going to put a clamp on here on the handlebar that will kind of hold the assembly kind of open to help us get the needle down into the harder cable. So we're going to be going in like that. Okay, so for this top one it's a little bit harder, so you're going to have to do it a little bit by feel. But if you stick the blunt needle down there, and you'll feel it when it kind of, once you hit the spot where it's going to go down into the cable. There it is now. So the syringe is empty, so we're going to go ahead and fill that next. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take the oil that's supplied with the kit, dump it into the syringe. You don't have to, yeah, you can go ahead and dump all of it. Okay, then just go ahead and put the plunger in. You don't have to push it in all the way, but just until you know that you've got some pressure on it. And from there you can just leave it for a little while. And what's going to happen, the oil's going into the cable, and it's going to flow down by gravity until it gets down to the throttle bodies, or to the throttle assembly. And all you really have to do as you go along, we're down got about a milliliter and a half, down to that's got about 2.5 milliliters out of the original 4. And all you really have to do is just every so often put a little bit of light pressure on the plunger to keep the pressure on. And the way you're going to know that you have enough, that the lube's through there, you can either do it by, I think if you put about 2 milliliters in, you should be getting oil out. But you can either lift the tank and look at the other end of the throttle cable, and you'll see it start bubbling, start seeing some oil bubbling out, or you can sometimes hear it. You can hear it as it starts to bubble out the other end. Okay, so right at about 2 milliliters remaining, so we put 2 milliliters in, I can actually hear and see oil dripping out the other end. So what I'm going to do is take a little pressure off the plunger, just so oil's not going to come flying out, and then we're just going to move it. And this one's the easier one to get to. Okay, so that's down in there. So we're going to reapply some pressure back to the plunger. We're going to lube the other one. So it's been about 10 minutes since we started the first one. Okay, so we got it with about a little less than a milliliter left. We've got a visual at the other end that we got oil coming out. So what you can do is, if you want to save the what's left for next time, you can just disconnect it and just put it back in the vial. You can use it again next time you lube your cables. So you gotta do is pull the needle out and put everything back together. Okay, we got everything put back together. We got the bar end back in, the clamshell back together, throttle, cruise control on, got the throttle cable readjusted, and the brake lever reinstalled. And one last thing I always like to do after I've had that apart is fire it up, just to make sure